Thank you. So I'd like to, thank many of the people who came here tonight. I think they traveled a long way, some of them, because I know a lot of folks were not from Glendale. They were from all over. Welcome to Glendale. We hope that you like to see democracy in action. I think some people came as far as Sacramento, if I understand that Mr. Caldwell did. There's been a lot of hysteria about this issue, and that's what really bothers me, is that it turned into a hysteria contest with the gas masks and the dragging the little children up and the graphics. You know, this is a serious decision that doesn't need those sort of emotional involvements. So we're going through a process required by California law, the California Environmental Quality Act. An EIR has been presented. It's being worked on. There was a draft EIR. There were over 1,000 comments made for that EIR, and they were all responded to or in the process of being responded to. And it is going to be brought to us in March. And I am for the full disclosure of that document. I don't think we should try and hide that document from the public. Let's see what the responses are to those comments. You know, we hear about Washington. Oh, they're trying to hide the document. Let's see what it says, and then we can discuss it. Because deep sixing that EIR is wrong. It provides information to this council to help us make a decision. Well, I was really touched by seeing all the environmentalists out here, but I know a little bit about fighting for the environment. I fought for 10 years to fight for the 710, against the 710 tunnel. And I fought against the Board of Supervisors, and I fought against the congressmen, and I fought against the cities of Monterey Park and Alhambra and Temple City and San Marino and probably the whole San Gabriel Valley. Boy, I wish you folks were with me during that fight. And that fight was over air quality, because those trucks on the 710 tunnel were going to be driving up our freeways, polluting our children with diesel fumes and particulate matter. Where were you guys? I guess I needed a state senator to get into a fight with the state assembly person to generate all this excitement over this. I really wish you were here. And during that fight, I was a strong advocate, and I didn't post misleading graphics of mushroom clouds, of coal-fired plants, people in poison gas masks trying to live. So let me tell you, I know what it's like. And I made enemies with labor. I made enemies with Mr. Miller, who came up and spoke. And I made enemies with the operating engineers. And yet, something Mike Mohill said earlier was true. Mike Antonovich did try and pull me off the MTA board.
Excuse me, can you repeat that? Mike Mohill said something true?
What Mike Mohill said was true. Mike Antonovich did try and kick me off the MTA board because I was fighting for the environment. So I know what it's all about. For me, I wish I could be an ideologue. Boy, I wish. I wish I was on some group and some committee where I could just say, you know, keep the air clean and don't burn any gas. But I'm not. I have a job, and that job is to make sure that when every single resident of this city and every single business and every single hospital needs electricity, that it's there immediately. Not 9 out of 10 times, not 95 times out of 100, but every single time. That's my job. Because we know what happens if you don't have electricity there all the time. Brownouts, blackouts, medical devices fail, security systems fail, street lights fail. I'm very proud of the city of Glendale. I don't think that was recognized by the people that came and shook their fingers at us. We have a 64% carbon-free portfolio. 64%. Councilmember Huizar's folks came up and shook their finger at us, and they're using 20% coal. Please, don't lecture us. We've made great strides in a carbon-free portfolio. I learned today that any permitting on Grayson is going to be accompanied with offsets in the system in some other location. Is that correct, Mr. Zern? So we are not adding, as we're talking about a regional, right? This is a regional issue. As a region, it's going to be neutral. It's going to be emissions neutral. You know, the toughest judge of air quality is the Southern California Air Quality Management District. At least they're the regulators. They're the cops. They had no comment on our draft EIR. We saw from the diagrams that the vehicle emissions, the mobile source emissions, are factors higher than what Grayson was putting out. So I'm sorry that there are children in that neighborhood, Lincoln Elementary, Cerritos Elementary, that have breathing issues, but it's clear that the vast majority of the particulate matter, the NOx, and the CO2 are coming from the freeways that ring the city of Glendale. The boilers we have now at Grayson are old. They have to go. They can't keep going. And they're polluting at a rate that's higher than we ever envisioned. And we've learned that any day now, Steve Zern is getting called to Diamond Bar to go before the AQMD. And they're going to say, you know what? You guys are polluting too much right now. Stop it. Take immediate action. We extended the comment period for the EIR. I'm glad we did that. I learned that the rates are not going to be increased as a result of moving to this project. Dr. Caldwell, who was the lead witness for the opponents of Grayson, didn't really understand the dilemma that we're in. This isn't a free market of electricity. We can't get as much electricity as we want to get. We're limited to the transmission of 200 megawatts. Correct, Mr. Zern? 200 megawatts, 65% of which is already carbon-free. So let's say we go 100% carbon-free on that 200 megawatts. We still have a peak load, and I don't need Stantec to tell me, I don't need Pace Global to tell me, that last year, during the summer, September, whatever, we pulled 350 megawatts. That means we have to have at least, with everything working perfectly, those 200 megawatts without any restriction feeding into Glendale. We need 150 megawatts of locally generated electricity. So everyone says, well, study renewables, study renewables. Okay, renewables. Do we want to study where to place the windmills on the Verdugo Mountains? Because that's renewable, wind energy. Is that what the study is going to entail? It should. If we're looking for renewables, it has to be local, remember. We can't buy it anywhere else, because let's assume that we're maxed out on that 200 without a hitch in the line. There's geothermal. I don't think that's going to work. There's hydro. Are we going to dam the LA River and get a hydro plant there? No. There's nuclear. Oh, we don't want that. So I'm not sure where we're going with this demand for the independent study on renewables. It has to be generated within our area because we've maxed out on the 200 megawatts that we're getting from the outside. Where are we going to get it from? Am I missing something? Nuclear fusion, which is the new type of nuclear energy? I don't think we're going to stand for that. Coal, of course, that's out of the question. Gas, we don't like gas. That's the whole issue before us. So where is this renewable going to come from? Let's not talk about ideology. Oh, let's improve our portfolio. We can improve our portfolio to 200 megawatts, pump it into the city. We're still 150 megawatts short. Where are we going to get that power? It has to be generated here. I don't think we can. Everyone talks about storage. I have big problems with storage, folks. I have big problems with storage. Artie, I have a few, I put together a few 10 or so slides that caught my eye. This is gas. This is natural gas. And I think many households in Glendale burn natural gas like that. And I bet many, I didn't say move yet, many parents let their kids sit there, maybe they're roasting marshmallows. Am I wrong? I mean, isn't this the same natural gas that we're talking about? Okay, next one, please. Fireplaces. We don't burn wood anymore. We burn natural gas in our own homes with our kids, huddled around it. Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Hanukkah. This is natural gas, right, Steve? Okay, let's move to the next one. This is a home furnace. Is there a house in Glendale that doesn't use natural gas, that doesn't create these emissions that we're all talking about today? I don't think there is. What other kind of heating is there? Electric heating? It's very expensive. Next. We all cook on natural gas. This isn't an advertisement for the gas company, but these are things that we have I have in my house. I don't walk around with a gas mask on. Next. Furnaces, again, that's what they look like. We all got one. Next. Ah, this is our favorite. We grill. That guy's probably breathing that too. Next, please. Water heaters. We've all got hot water heaters that run on natural gas. Is that evil? Is that an evil natural gas water heater? I don't think it's evil. Next, please. Yeah, this is the kind of hyperbole that I think doesn't help the discussion at all. At all. That's really disgusting. It's an unfair graphic which really misinforms those that aren't really that up on the idea. That's a coal plant. Next, please. And that's a real coal plant. Is that what we have in Glendale? Is that what Grayson does? No, it doesn't. Why are we portraying it as such? Next, please. Yep, I guess on the top, you know, there are the gas masks. Actually, it's a mushroom cloud above those. So, you know, God bless whoever put it together. There's a fist for, I don't know, environmental justice or something. Next, please. Next one, please. And so when the electricity goes out, that 99th time out of 100, you're going to get stuck in elevators, folks, throughout the city. Next, please. Oh, I forgot about dryers. We've got dryers for natural gas. I have one. I love it. Next, please. And when the electricity goes out, folks, when the electricity goes out, all these big buildings around the city of Glendale have diesel generators to provide a little bit of power to get people out of those elevators. And that's what comes out of those diesel generators. If you've ever seen it happen, if you've ever seen them tested, because they're tested annually, that's exactly what comes out of it. So for that 99th time out of 100 that we were relying on renewable from God knows where, and it goes out, that's what's going to be in our air. Next. This is a lithium mine. This is going to be our savior, right? This renewable energy. Storage. Storage comes from the mines, a lithium-ion mine. Next, please. And here's another lithium-ion mine. And I've got something else already. I wasn't going to play it, but you know what? If we're really going to be global players, if we're going to care about the environment and about humanity, across the world, play this video and turn it up, please.
It's crawling with children, working like modern-day slaves.
These are the child slaves right now in Congo harvesting the lithium that provides 25% of the lithium for all the lithium-ion batteries.
But a history of brutal colonial exploitation looks like being repeated now in 2017. Much of it's mined by hand with rudimentary tools in harsh, potentially hazardous conditions. And wretched whether or not, the rush is on for a mineral the DRC has in great abundance, cobalt, and it's fast becoming more precious than gold. It's a critical ingredient in lithium-ion batteries which power smartphones and laptops. An army of children are at the heart of the mining production. Wearing no shoes and in the most wretched conditions, Dorsan is ordered to retrieve the sack he's forgotten. There's an urgency now. The rains make this dangerous work even more risky. And Dorsan's told in no uncertain terms he risks a beating if he messes up again. Dorsan, with Richard beside him, have worked all day. They're 8 and 11 years old. Even this punishing work doesn't guarantee enough for food. Dorsan hasn't eaten for 2 days now. This is what helpless looks like. And he's one of the children making millions for multinational corporations in America and China whilst they suffer in squalor. For this, they'll get maybe 8 British pence a day.
Walitusukuma tunaenda tena tunarudia. Mimi nashikia sana mkongo inauma. Mimi natumika. Mkongo inaumaka na mbavu.
The tunnels are dug by hand
Thank you,
with
Artie.
no support.
So let's not talk about storage like it's some magical thing that pops out and solves our problem, because it has a huge, devastating impact on human life and on the environment. So I'm not that crazy about adding a whole lot of storage, Steve, let me tell you, because this is going on right now, and we can't wash our hands of it and say, oh, well, that's going to change. We're going to increase the demand for storage, and it's going to come from lithium farms like that, where those children are being used as slave labor. Bottom line is, this is an EIR process that's going forward. We need to go forward with it. I am against any sort of citizens committee. This is an issue that has been well discussed by the community, well discussed by residents, pro and con. I think we need to go forward, listen to what the EIR has to say, and then decide what our options are. From no project all the way up to the 250 megawatts and everything in between. Thank you.